Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Chef Marty, owner of Chow Dogs Mobile Barbecue and Catering in Macon, Georgia. And today I want to show you how to make a quick and simple, cheesy and creamy macaroni and cheese. I normally make this for catering parties, but I want to show you a smaller version of it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get at it. All right, this is going to be really simple. Our ingredients are going to be whole milk, 2 cups. I'm going to use 1 can of evaporated milk. I'm going to use 8 ounces. This is a 16-ounce package. I'm going to cut it in half of Velveeta cheese. I'm also going to be using 1 pound, 1 package of elbow macaroni, 8 ounces of mozzarella, 8 ounces of sharp cheddar, and 8 ounces of mild cheddar is going to be our cheeses for the day. We're also going to use 3 separate tablespoons of butter, 1 for our dish, 1 for our noodles, and 1 for our water. We're going to season this up to taste with some granulated garlic, some black pepper, some onion powder, and a little bit of kosher salt. And optional, I like it, a little bit of hot sauce. That's it. Let's go ahead and get our water boiling for our noodles, preheat our oven, and we'll be right back. Okay, starting with our noodles, I'm gonna add that 1 package of noodles, 1 pound, to our salted buttered water. I've added 1 tablespoon of butter to it. I'm gonna give it a quick stir. We're gonna bring it back to a boil until it's al dente. Okay, while our noodles are cooking, let's go ahead and bring our pan to a medium-low heat, and we're gonna add the 2 cups of whole milk. Gonna go ahead and get our Velveeta, 8 ounces. We're gonna cut it into cubes, and we're gonna add this to our milk, to our whole milk in the pan, so we can get a nice smooth base for our cheese sauce. Okay, so while our cheese sauce is melting, our noodles are ready. I've already drained them. I did not rinse them. I put them back in the pot because I want that starch in there to be able to cling to the sauce. So do not rinse these noodles. I've added 1 tablespoon of butter. It's gonna give it a good stir to coat, and then I'm going to season our noodles. This is a very important step. You want to season the noodles because you don't want the noodles, when we add it to the cheese sauce, to pull the flavor from the cheese sauce. So season both and it'll be great. So I'm gonna season the taste with garlic, onion powder, and black pepper. But if you want to use a measurement, let's go with 1 tablespoon each of onion powder, garlic powder, and black pepper, and then 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. But as you can see here, I'm just seasoning the taste. Once I get everything seasoned, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a quick stir. Another quick tip, pour your salt in your palm of your hand and then add it to your noodles. That way you don't accidentally add too much salt to the mix. All right, perfect. Okay, we'll set our noodles aside for a second. Now let's focus on our cheese sauce. As you can see, the Velveeta cheese is all but melted into my 2 cups of whole milk. And to that, I'm gonna add 8 ounces or 1 package of the mild cheddar cheese. I'm gonna give this a stir and get it nice and blended. Now in this step, you're gonna see why I call this my no fuss macaroni and cheese. Because as we build this sauce, you're gonna notice I'm not using any flour, we're not making a roux, we're not using any eggs, but this macaroni and cheese is absolutely delicious. You're gonna see. So now that we got our cheese sauce or our cheese added to the milk and the Velveeta, you'll see it's getting pretty thick. So now we're gonna add gradually we're gonna stir in 1 can of the evaporated milk. Take your time, be patient with this, and stir this in gradually. This evaporated milk is what makes this recipe very creamy. Don't skip this part. If you feel that if you already got the consistency that you want, you don't need to use the whole can. Use your judgment. I've made this recipe many times. I feel comfortable using the whole can for a consistency that I like. So try it the first time my way, and hey, you may not want to use that much milk, or you may want to use a little more. All depends on how it bakes up for your preference and the consistency. But this is it. This is our cheese sauce in a nutshell. Now I'm gonna go back and season this with the same thing I seasoned the noodles with, because again, I don't want the noodles to steal the flavor from the sauce and vice versa. So I'm gonna add to taste some garlic, some pepper, and some onion powder. What I'm not gonna add is the salt. Why? Because cheese is naturally salty anyway, and we don't need it, and we don't want salt to overpower this. So add these 3, give it a good stir, make sure it's well incorporated, and this is gonna be just perfect. The next step in this is we're gonna add the noodles to this sauce. Looking good. Nice, let's move on. All right, now this step is optional. I like to add a few dashes of hot sauce to my cheese sauce. I think it really brings out the flavor of the seasoning and kind of ties everything together. It doesn't make it hot, but this is an optional step that I like to do. Use your own judgment on this. All right, let's add our noodles to our cheese sauce. Now, it may not take all these noodles, so don't add them all at once. Go ahead and add a little bit, stir it up, get a feel for the consistency of the noodles within the sauce. If it's kind of loose, go ahead and add a little bit more, but don't feel like you need to add the whole box to this if it's not the consistency that you like. I'm gonna go ahead and add this. It's a pretty large pan that I'm using in this cheese sauce. It feels good to me, so I use it, but you don't need to use a whole box of macaroni if you don't want to. Get it. Let's go ahead and combine our mozzarella cheese with our sharp cheddar cheese. Just want to put it in a bowl, break it up, and get it combined pretty evenly. All right, let's also take and grease our baking dish with that remaining tablespoon of butter that we have. Now make sure you do this very well. Get into the nooks and crannies of the baking dish. It'll make the cleanup go a lot easier. It won't stick, and that butter adds a little flavor. So ready. All right, I'm gonna fill up our pan halfway with the noodles, our buttered baking dish, I should say. I'm gonna fill it up halfway, and then we're just gonna top this layer off with our mozzarella and sharp cheddar cheese mix, just like so. Nice. Let's take and push it down a little bit into the noodles just to make sure it's nice and incorporated. And then we're gonna just fill the baking dish up with another layer of this ooey goodness right here. And again, we're gonna repeat the process with the mozzarella and sharp cheddar cheese mix. I'm sorry, I'm being silly, but my mouth is just watering with this. I can't wait for it to come out the oven. So anyway, that's it for this step. I'm going to finish up with this cheese. I'm going to clean up my work area, wash my hands, and I'll be right back in a second. All right, I don't know if I said it before, but my oven has been preheating at 350 degrees. But before I put it in, I just want to touch this up a little bit with some smoked paprika, just to add a little bit of color, followed by some dried parsley flakes, just to give it a little bit of garnish on top. I'm gonna put it in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes, but I'm gonna watch it, and when that cheese is melted and bubbly, it'll be ready. All right, here she is, guys, fresh out the oven. It waited for about 30 minutes. The cheese is nice and golden, melted on top. The size where the butter pan was nice and bubbly. I'm not gonna cut into it right yet. I want it to sit here for a few minutes, about 5 minutes, just let it rest, and I'll be back and we'll cut into it. This smells so good. The cheese on top has a nice crust on it. I can feel how cheesy and gooey it is, but look at this. Look at that cheese. Man, is that pretty or what? Take a look at it. Family's gonna love this, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Hey, like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoy. Take care.